my sort of algorithm or optimization is like, okay, what set of things do we need to do to ensure that increase the probability that the future is going to be good?
Yeah.
And so if we have to solve sustainable energy,
Yeah.
this is tautological. If we
Yeah.
do not solve sustainable energy, then we have unsustainable energy. Then it's just a matter of time before before civilization collapses. We must, but even if there was not an environmental issue, since the availability of oil is limited,
Yeah.
this is not something we can sustain long term. You know, my guess is that the majority of the electricity production long term will be photovoltaics, solar, and paired with batteries, obviously.
Hi, my name is Sebastian. I'm an electrical engineer. I worked at battery systems and solar cells. And today I want to show you my engineering insights I had with the latest interview with Elon Musk at the Axel Springer Award. Let's get into that.
I feel quite comfortable in predicting that the vast majority of Earth's electricity generation will be solar and wind, I should say.
So this is super interesting because right now Tesla is seen as an automotive company, right? They build cars, but actually they are aiming for a higher goal. Let's take a look at Tesla's mission statement. Tesla's mission statement is to accelerate the world's transition to sustainable energy. It is not about cars, it is about energy. Now take a look at the energy consumption today. Most of it is coal, oil and gas, and just a tiny fraction is renewable energies. And I really believe that this is where Tesla is aiming for, because you really have to solve this energy consumption issue and problem if you really want to transition the world to sustainable energies, right?
Wind has actually been, I've been surprised just how good wind has gotten. Wind power is extremely low cost. In fact, a lot of the best wind turbines are made in Germany.
Maybe there's another reason why they built the Gigafactory in Berlin. Maybe they want to build wind parks.
So the numbers are extremely good. Yeah, that needs to be paired with large battery packs in order to buffer the wind power, because the wind speed changes and sometimes it doesn't blow wind. But people want steady electricity. They don't want to just have electricity when the wind's blowing.
So this is super important what Elon just stated, because you cannot disrupt the energy market with renewable energies if you have not fixed the energy storage issue we have with renewable energies.
But people want steady electricity. They don't want to just have electricity when the wind's blowing. So you have to pair wind turbines with large battery packs, and the same is with solar. You've got to buffer the solar power, because obviously it's no sun at night and sometimes it's very cloudy.
And if you want to transition to sustainable energies, that's really key. You really have to fix the battery storage issue first. And that's what Elon Musk is doing with Tesla. First, they build the cars, ramp up the battery production, and then they use the batteries not just for the cars, but they want to use it also to store the energy from the grid.
Do you see the growing electronic car fleet as a buffer for that, to be connected to the network, or is that unrealistic?
Oh, this is a really interesting question this person just asked, because you really want to use the battery system for the cars for the grid, right? That's what everyone is talking about. Vehicle-to-grid capabilities, that you not just store the energy in the car, but you also feed it back to the grid so you can use it in the grid. And just listen to Elon, because he's sandbagging a little bit.
I mean, I certainly could be wrong about this point. The early Roadsters we made had vehicle-to-grid capability, but nobody used it.
Oh, Elon. You know, the first Roadster, that was like 2008, right? And you just made like a handful of Roadsters. But in order to make the vehicle-to-grid really able to feed it back to the grid and really work, you really need a big scale of cars. And that's what we see right now with Tesla, right? They ramp out the Tesla production, they ramp it up with thousands of cars every month. And that's what you really need actually for vehicle-to-grid capability.
Early Roadsters we made had vehicle-to-grid capability, but nobody used it. So it cost some money. Nobody was using it, so we turned it off. We can easily turn it on right now. And actually easy, especially in Europe, because of the way the connectors work.
So he just stated that they can easily turn it back on. And just for you to give you a better understanding, you need a different hardware if you want to have vehicle-to-grid capability. It's not just like a software update. You need different hardware that's able not just to charge the car, but also feed the energy back to the grid. And I think that all the new Tesla cars have already that in place, and they're just waiting for the right time to make it up. It's the same as full self-driving.
We need like a maybe $100 accessory to be able to do this in the US. But I really think people want to have a home-based battery. Like I think the future that I see most likely is solar on the roof. So either where the roof itself, this roof tiles itself are solar generating, or solar panels retrofit on an existing roof, combined with a local battery. We have a product called the Powerwall. It's very popular. And then you need to combine that with grid level solar and wind.
So the last part is really interesting, because it is not enough just to have a solar rooftop and a power pack to transition the world to sustainable energy. You really need like a grid level connectivity with solar and wind farms, and like really big power plants, nuclear power plants and solar power plants, and they have to be connected as well. And right now we don't have that. We have nuclear power plants and we have like a little bit wind farms and solar parks, but it's just like a fraction of what we need. And I think that's where Elon Musk and Tesla is heading next. They will disrupt the automotive industry, but then they will also build wind farms and solar parks and maybe even nuclear power plants, who knows, right? But that's really needed in order to have sustainable energy.
But total electricity power consumption obviously will increase. I mean, when all transport goes electric, all road transport going electric, will approximately double electricity usage.
So Elon just stated that when all transport goes electric, the energy usage will double. And that doesn't mean we need more power plants, but we have to transition the power plants from coal and gas and oil to more sustainable, right? So we still have to build a ton of wind parks and solar cells. And at the same time, we need the battery storage systems in order to store all the energy. That's the first step.
But we will need to increase the amount of solar and wind, geothermal, hydro, nuclear, I think is fine, like I said, in order to solve the needs of electric vehicles. My guess is that the majority of the electricity production long term will be photovoltaics, solar, and paired with batteries, obviously.
I think that's really like Tesla's roadmap. They first built the cars and the battery packs, ramp the battery packs up, and then they not just use the battery packs for the cars, but they also use it for building more sustainable energy sources like wind farms and solar power plants on a big scale. You really need that in order to feed the energy demand the world needs, especially in crowded areas like Los Angeles or New York. You really need like big power plants, and like a solar rooftop and a power pack, that's not enough. So what do you think? Do you think that Tesla is just another car company, or do you think that Tesla will disrupt the energy market in the near future? Write it down in the comments below. And if you want to learn more about Tesla and the engineering background behind it, subscribe to my channel. I have an engineering degree, I worked at battery systems and solar cells, and I want to give you more insights on Tesla and where they are heading to.